Hello and welcome to the Profitable Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Rich, and as the founder of the Bold Life Movement and a fellow coach for more than 7 years, I know the challenges that many of you face when launching or growing your coaching business. And I'm here to pull back the curtain on the coaching industry and help you overcome roadblocks to make the impact you were born to make. Each week, I'll be interviewing successful coaches from every corner of the industry to share exactly how they have managed to generate massive impact and income. From strategy to psychology, we cover it all. This show is presented to you by Transformation Academy, a global marketplace of courses and coaching certifications. So whether you are already part of our epic community or you're brand new to this show, if you're ready to learn what it takes to turn your passion for service into a profitable business, then keep listening. You are in the right place. Welcome to episode 51 of the Profitable Coach Podcast. Today, we are talking about the power of live events. But before we get into that, I want to make sure that you know we are rewarding our listeners. That's right. We are running a drawing again to celebrate 50 episodes of the Profitable Coach Podcast, which means if you have not yet left us a review on your podcast app of choice, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, leave us a review, email a screenshot or a photo of your review to our team at contact@transformationacademy.com. And then at the end of the month, this is airing in July, at the end of the month, we are going to draw one, maybe two lucky individuals to receive a free TA coaching certification. So don't miss out on the opportunity. It takes like 3 seconds of your time and it's totally worth it. So now that that's out of the way, thank you to our sponsors. I want to talk about how pivotal and life-changing live events can be for your business. So there's actually two different angles that we'll be taking this conversation. One is you hosting live events to bring in traffic, to nurture your audience, to establish yourself as an expert. And then the other angle is attending live events. So I want to tell you a story. Back in 2017, I had the grand realization that I wanted to give a TEDx talk. This was something that just kind of came to me. I was attending a conference, see the power of live events. I was attending a conference and I was invited by the speaker to pick an audacious goal that scared me. She called it a fear goal. And we were tasked with writing down this fear goal on a little envelope, putting our address on the outside, and then handing it to the person next to us. And that person was in charge of mailing it to us 6 months later to hold us accountable to this dream. I don't know where it came from, but I had the divine download that I was meant to give a TEDx talk. And so I wrote it on my little envelope, passed it to Javier. Javier mailed it to me 6 months later. And I will tell you, within 6 months, I had secured that opportunity. And here's how it happened. Once I made the decision, right? This is how everything happens in our life. We make a decision, we orient ourselves in that new direction, we start taking divine, massive, messy, inspired action. We put ourselves out there, we tell people about our dreams, we ask people for support, we start learning new things. And once I had done this, everything shifted, because when I attended my next live event, which was a couple months later, a Tony Robbins UPW in San Jose, California, I was of the mind at this point that I'm looking to meet people who can further me towards this goal, right? Who can help me achieve this goal at a quicker pace. So I went into this live event in, I think it was September 2017. And, oh no, this is 2016. I apologize. My TEDx was September 2017. So I go into this live event in 2016 and my intention, I always set an intention before a live event. My intention was I want to meet male friends who are aligned in my values and my goals. I felt like I was really well supported by like female coaches, female entrepreneurs, females in the personal development space. And I really wanted to make more male friends, like, you know, have those soul brothers. And so I walked into this event and I kid you not, within the first 30 minutes, I meet these two epic gentlemen. They are both former Peace Corps servers. I don't know how you say that. They did the Peace Corps. They served in the Peace Corps in Mongolia, actually. They're really fascinating. And one of them happened to be associated with a TEDx event. So 2 days into the event, we're talking about our hopes and our dreams. And I tell him, oh yes, I have a strong desire to give a TEDx. And he was like, oh, well, I actually co-organize one in my hometown. I'll put you in touch with the organizer. So right now, I've already shared with you 2 life-changing moments that happened because I was in a powerful transformational container, also called a live event. Okay. Same thing happened 2 years earlier when I decided that I was going to launch the Bold Life Movement. If you're new to this show, I'm the head coach at Transformation Academy. I run a lot of our live programs. I run this podcast, The Profitable Coach, but I also have my own business called the Bold Life Movement, which I launched back in 2015. And the catalyst for that business, for that coaching, umbrella, for my own podcast, for everything that has come out of the Bold Life Movement was attending a live event. It was seeing people who were living the life I wanted to be living, who were inspiring, who were experts, who were putting their message out there, who were creating massive impact in the world, who were creating anything really, and deciding, you know what, that's meant for me too. This excites me. I feel attracted to these people because they're living out something that I want to be living out. And it was because of some really bold actions that I took at this live event. And you can go listen to my TEDx talk. We'll link it up in the show notes. It was because of some really bold actions that I took at this event that I got the idea to launch the Bold Life Movement. I'm going to tell you another story. 2016. It was a very pivotal year for me. I should look astrologically what was going on that year because that was a huge year for me. December 2016, I attend my first retreat in Costa Rica. It is put on by a woman that I went to high school with, or a lady, a lady that I went to high school with. And I just, it was one of those last minute decisions. I saw her posts on social media. I recognized her from 15 years earlier. And I was like, wow, she's doing so much amazing stuff in the world. I could really use a trip to Costa Rica right now. That sounds so nourishing. I'm just going to pull the trigger and do it. So I go to this event. There I meet what has become a dear friend and actually a previous guest on this show. Her name's Bishop Reed. You should go listen to that episode. It's really special. I meet this girl, Bishop, and Bishop has really, really, really stressed out in her life. She's working a 9-to-5. She's totally overworked. And by hearing my story of leaving my 9-to-5 in 2013, following my dreams of moving overseas and integrating myself in this entrepreneurial community that I ended up becoming the community manager of and the event planner for, and living this incredibly drastically different lifestyle that I had been for the previous 27 years of my life, it planted a seed in Bishop's mind. It planted a seed not just in Bishop's mind, but also in her best friend, Emmeline, who was attending the retreat. And within 2 months of going home from the retreat, they both quit their 9-to-5 jobs and moved overseas. And Bishop has been supporting transformational containers and creating retreats and workshops and coaching experiences of her own ever since. This is the power of getting in the room. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what inspired conversation is waiting for you. You never know what mentor is waiting to sort of hand over the keys to give you the roadmap. You never know what trajectory shift is available to you if you don't get yourself into a new environment. This is one of the really important things that I think people underestimate is the power of an intentional environment. Messy house, messy mind. You've probably heard that saying before, but it's even bigger than that. It transcends that. If we are surrounding ourselves with people who constantly talk about lack, who are complaining about money, lack of time, lack of resources, the world's coming to an end, etc., they're like a Debbie Downer, for lack of a better term, then that is polluting our mind. However, the same thing can be true for the alternative. If we consciously put ourselves into containers where people are aspirational, inspirational, motivated, accountable, they have integrity, they have faith, that starts to bleed off on us. Jim Rohn says we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. Well, that's why it's really important to be putting yourselves in containers where you are like the smallest fish in the pond. You want everyone else in the container to be smarter, further along, more financially savvy. Everything that you aspire to be, put yourselves in containers where those people are hanging out. And trust that you're there for a reason too, right? Like, it's important to try and be around people who are further along than us, but trust that you have something to offer as well. You have value that you probably aren't even aware of. Oftentimes it's the scrappiness, it's the go-getterness of the newbies that inspire the people who have been in the game longer, because maybe they got a little jaded. Maybe they need a little pick-me-up. And so trust that you have something to offer as well. So this is something that I'm really, really passionate about. And it's because of these pivotal moments in my life that I decided to host a retreat in November. This coming November, 2024 in California, I'll be hosting the Heart of Business Retreat. And I'm telling you, it is divinely guided, because within a week of soft launching this to the TA community, we sold 50% of the spots. 50%. So if it's something that calls to you, then check out the show notes, theprofitablecoach.com/051 for episode 51. I'll have the link there for you to check out all the things we're going to be doing. It's going to be so rich. We're going to create massive memories, massive shifts in your heart, in your mind, in your identity, in your business. So I definitely want to make sure and mention that opportunity is available to you. But also, if going to a retreat, if traveling outside your state isn't something that you have the resources or the bandwidth to do right now, I want to remind you that you have the capacity to create change in your hometown right now. There are venues and spaces that are already available to you to gather other people who need your services, who need your expertise. So if you're someone who's been like spinning your wheels on social media, not really feeling like you're making a difference, not feeling like you're growing your audience, well then one, I want to make sure and mention I have a workshop coming up at the end of the month called Break Up with Instagram, 100+ ways to market your business without social media. So I'll make sure and have that linked up in the show notes as well. Really important for anyone who's over the social media rat race. It's going to be July 31st through August 2nd. But more than that, I want to talk about live events, because that is one of the things we'll be sharing at the workshop, is how I've used live events in my hometown, every hometown I've ever lived in since launching the Bold Life Movement, to create community. This is what coaching is. This is what being an expert or a mentor is. It is gathering individuals, creating an experience or offering value, and then inviting them into another experience. So that could be inviting them into a one-on-one coaching program. It could be inviting them into a group program. This is what it is to be a coach. You stay inspired. You are constantly learning and up-leveling and adding new tools to your toolbox. You are constantly living by example, being an alchemist in your own life, being an artist in your own life who's turning raw materials into gold that you can go out and share with other people. And then doing that, creating opportunities to share those experiences, to share that transformation, to help other people move through that exact same pain, that exact same aspiration, to help them accomplish that same dream. So what are the activities? What are the experiences? What are the things that feel really juicy and exciting to you that you can go ahead and start creating in your hometown right now? I'll tell you a couple examples that I've done over the years. I held a witchy women's retreat in Austin. That was my very first retreat ever. And I did it because I was really feeling, connected to nature, connected to the magic that I know women possess, connected to our inherent ability to create, and really wanting to bridge the gap between women who are re-accessing their spirituality and their connection to the divine, but maybe moving outside of their formerly religious upbringing. And I wanted to show how we all are saying the same thing. Prayer, spells, nature, God, divine, spirit, creation, it's all the same. This is my point of view. This is the point of view of the women who attended my retreat. So I created an experience that I would have wanted to attend. I handmade all of the little trinkets that we used for our spells, all the totems, I'm totally blanking right now, but the little board that we did our spells on with the pentagram, I hand burned it with wood. It was so cool. And so I created something that I would want to attend. And it really set the stage for what I knew I was capable of in terms of future retreats. I learned so much doing a small scale retreat by myself, going on and hosting co-hosted retreats later on. You learn by doing, right? You don't wait till you're ready to do these things. You become ready by doing them. So then I hosted a goal setting workshop. I didn't have to pay for the space. It was free. Same thing for the Witchy Women's Retreat. I borrowed a lake house that a friend owned. She didn't charge me. So there are lots of opportunities in your hometown that you might not be considering. Who do you know that has a second home that they're not even using? Are there cheap Vrbo or Airbnbs in your area? Are there yoga studios, galleries? In the small town that I live in right now, there's actually a plant store. She sells plants, she sells journals, jewelry. It's like this really epically beautiful space. And she is passionate about connecting the community. And so she allows me to come there and host my women's circles. So I host women's circles on the full moon. What are things like this that you could do? Can you host something in your church? Can you host something in the Chamber of Commerce space? Can you plug into the Toastmasters group? Those are some live events as well that you could start plugging into. Can you plug into the Toastmasters group and maybe host something at the same venue that they do? There are so many opportunities that are going untapped. So I want you to start getting the wheels turning. What is an event that I would like to attend? What is an event that past me attended that was really powerful? What is an event that I would want to create for other people? What resources would be necessary for that? So I really want you to think big, right? The steps that you would take to 10x your dream are very specific and much smaller than, and when I say smaller, I mean there are fewer options than the steps you would take to 2x your dream. I was talking to a student on one of our recent Coaching Confidence Accelerator calls, and she was like, I think I made a mistake because after I finished the Life Purpose coaching certification, I wanted to host a Life Purpose conference. So I kind of bit off more than I could chew. And I said, well, have you ever hosted a conference before? And she said, no. And I said, okay, well, maybe it's going to be a big goal. Maybe it's going to be audacious, but doesn't mean you can't do it. Knowing what that goal is just means that now you have the clarity on the tasks required to get there, which are going to be different than let me host a Life Purpose workshop. A Life Purpose conference, it might seem big, it might seem scary, but wow, how exciting. You just have different tasks to get there. It's just as doable as hosting a workshop. It just might require more resources or time to find the people who have the resources, to find the speakers, to find the venue. Doesn't mean it's not doable. Doesn't mean there aren't people who wouldn't attend it. Dream big, you guys. Going to conferences and seeing what people like Chris Guillebeau and Lewis Howes and Tony Robbins and Dan and Ian, the people that I originally worked with from Tropical MBA and Dynamite Circle back in 2013, seeing what they created and then plugging myself into that community and becoming their event planner. When I used to put on 500-person conferences in Bangkok, Thailand, I had never run an event in my entire life. And yet, I figured it out. I pitched myself as their event planner when our previous one quit and decided to graduate and move on to something else. I said, I've never done this, but I will figure it out. Everything is figure outable. So if hosting small or large scale events is something that feels juicy to you, do it. And then the last thing I want to say is oftentimes these events are not actually the moneymaker. And this is where it's really important to get clear on what your funnel looks like. What's your overarching dream? What's your overarching vision? What is it that you want to be bringing in financially every month? And what are the actual offers in your funnel that bring that in? Because sometimes live events are the things that we do to fill the top of the funnel, so that once they're in our world and we're nurturing them and we've given them such an epic transformational experience, signing on one of our higher tiered offers or one of our higher cost, more premium offerings becomes a no-brainer. And those are the things that actually support us long-term. Those are the things that we actually make the most money at. And it helps us to fund the live events. Not to say you can't make money from retreats, you totally can. It just takes a little bit more strategy. It takes being really cognizant of your budget, of your add-ons, your bonuses, your venue, all these things. But it's figure outable. We'll link this book up in the show notes. It's called Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. It's her famous mantra, is why she chose it for the title of her book, but it's true. Anything you desire is possible. You just might need to learn a few things that you don't currently know. One of my favorite authors, Ben Hardy, has a book called Who Not How. Oftentimes we get stuck worrying about, but how will I do that? Don't worry about it. Find the person who knows how. Find a mentor, find a podcast, find a book, find a freelancer, find an employee, find a CTO, find a marketing person, find an ads person. If you don't know how, maybe it's important for you to learn, but maybe it's just important for you to find the person who does. So again, let's recap. Live events create a moment of transformation. It's like lightning in a bottle. Something that happens at a live event can never be replicated. That magic, that potency can never be replicated. So find opportunities to put yourself in the containers where lightning can strike. Find live events that you can go put yourself around people who have what you want, who are doing what you want to be doing. And trust that you are that person for other people. So start creating experiences in your hometown or globally, if that appeals to you, where you can invite people in, you can give them an experience, a transformation, a lot of value, create something extraordinary that you would feel really proud of, and then invite them into another experience. There's always more to grow and other places to go with your clients. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. I'm so passionate about live events. Again, if you feel called to attend the Heart of Business Retreat in Mendocino, California, November 21st through 25th, we will be sure to link that up in the show notes, theprofitablecoach.com/051. I can't wait to see all of my TA family there. There's so many of you already attending, and I'm so excited. It's going to be so epic. I have all these little surprises up my sleeve. We're going to have epic coaching. We're going to have incredible food. I just solidified the chef that I had at a previous retreat. She's Michelin star trained. She's phenomenal. It's going to be really, really special. So again, theprofitablecoach.com/051 is where all of these resources will be linked up. If you decide to host a live event, DM me on Instagram, share the link with me. I want to see all of the details. I want to celebrate with you. And my Instagram is at Kimberly Rich, and you can follow Transformation Academy at Transformation Academy Online. All right, sending you guys so much love, and we will catch you on next week's episode.